So thank you very much for organizing this event and inviting us here. And I will talk very briefly to begin with about the Portuguese experience with the capacity building project. So this project is called LifeCap PT2 because it follows a first capacity building project. And its main objective was to improve Portugal's capacity to participate in the LIFE program, to increase the efficiency of its use and to increase the number and quality of national proposals. The project is coordinated by the Portuguese Environmental Agency, which is an NCP for the Circular Economy and Quality of Life subprogram, and has as partners the Director General for Energy and Geology, NCP for Clean Energy Transition, the Institute of Forests and Nature Conservation from Madeira, and the Regional Directorate for the Environment and Climate Action from Azores, which are NCPs for the autonomous regions, and DDL, a private company which has great experience in designing applications. This project has a duration of 36 months. It's nearly finishing. And in terms of structure, it consists of 10 work packages. The first, divided in forming groups, the first one is more or less common to all projects and related to project management. Then we have a group of work packages dedicated to communication and dissemination, another to the training of applicants, and also activities related to the support of co-financing. Of course, capacity building activities are the core of this project. And this slide summarizes the main annual activities that we have been implementing over the past few years. They start after the opening of the calls, and the kickoff are the info days, the EU info days and the national ones. And then the actions take place during, while the call is open. Not necessarily in the order that is shown here, but this sequence follows the level of knowledge or experience and the maturity of applications. So very briefly, we organize regional sessions across the country, including the Azores and the Madeira, and thus ensuring a national coverage. Their goal is to disseminate more broadly the opportunities of the LIFE program, and they are hands-on training sessions that cover topics like how to structure a proposal, and where we discuss potential project ideas with participants and help fit them within the LIFE priorities. These sessions are open to the general public, and in 3 years we have reached 650 participants with them. Then we also organize some more targeted training sessions based on critical issues that along the years we have identified as things applicants find more difficulty in. For those who are already working on proposals, we have a session dedicated to LIFE project indicators, their choice and definition. And we also have tailor-made sessions for application design, which are one-on-one meetings with project teams where we analyze the draft proposal and give suggestions for the improvement of the concept or technical structure, or, for instance, the formal writing or the budget. Then, and for a very specific target audience, we also hold sessions that are focused on strategic projects, so strategic integrated and strategic nature projects, to increase their use by the eligible national authorities, those responsible for implementing plans or strategies related to the environment and climate action, because unfortunately, in Portugal, there is still a low participation in this type of projects. For this theme, we hold 2 types of events: an information seminar, which is focused on promoting the opportunities for strategic projects, and this includes the possibility of preparing them with the technical assistance projects and a capacity building workshop about preparing applications. On another theme, we also promote a webinar about good practices for replication, transfer, and policy uptake in live projects. And in this event, we showcase successful Portuguese projects within these areas. And finally, we host every year the Interlife event, which brings together ongoing Portuguese live projects and also Portuguese entities that are involved as partners in projects coordinated by other member states. And in this event, we hear from projects that are starting and finishing. We have a field visit to see the results and ongoing activities of a host project. And this event is essential to share experiences between live teams and for networking and even for creating potential new partnerships. As for communication activities, we developed several different actions, among which we have a new webpage. We produced a podcast series called Live Portugal, which so far has 23 episodes. We use social media, primarily LinkedIn, and also promote technical exchange visits. Just very quickly for all of you to see, this is our new and refurbished web page and our newly developed graphic identity. And as I mentioned, we promote technical exchange visits. In these visits, members of our project traveled to other member states to network both with the NCPs and also with teams from projects that were mostly transnational. Of course, in the summer of 2025, we had the pleasure of receiving the delegation from the Hungarian NCPs who visited us, and we find these interchanges very important to learn from each other and to thus improve our work as live NCPs. In the project, we also developed some supporting documents and tools. We have a document with frequently asked questions, national questions that we update regularly. I mentioned a webinar about good practices for policy uptake, replication, and transfer, and also economic value and capacity building of organizations. We have produced a guide about these good practices and feature them in the guide is also available in English. And in addition to identifying success stories with Portuguese projects, the guide also includes tips that were shared by the project coordinators. And then the project is also developing a platform to help the matchmaking between projects and their potential co-financers. Of course, in addition to all this, we also provide regular support. We do what we call open desks, short online meetings to clarify doubts and discuss structural aspects of proposals and give tailored recommendations to applicants. And naturally, we're available via email or phone. After the project ends, many of these actions which we have found to be effective will naturally continue and in our job as NCPs. So we will continue to provide regular support to applicants. We will still be deploying capacity building actions such as the online workshops and information sessions, among others. We will naturally continue to use the same communication channels and the tools that were developed by this project and which, as I said, have proven to be effective, and we will update the created documents. Almost at the end, I would just like to say that as NCPs, we are very glad to see the national evolution of applications. As you can see, submitted applications have almost doubled since 2023, and that makes us very happy. And finally, I leave here a table with the Portuguese NCPs, who we are. There are several of us, and our contacts. And I think, if I may, I would take this opportunity to say that our colleague from the Clean Energy Transition NCP is, I believe, present today, Paula Gomes. And if I may, I would like to ask if she wants to add just a few words and complete what I have said so far.
Yes, please, Paula, the floor is yours.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very
I'm
much.
sorry. I'm sorry for my camera is not working today. But I would like very much to also express that it was a pleasure to have the interchange with Hungarian NCPs. We, as Clean Energy Transition, are more recent to the LIFE program, but nevertheless, we are really engaging and we have been engaging with all this process, benefiting also from the experience of our colleagues from the other programs. And we really, I'm proud to say that we made a solid team of all the sub-programs. And there are some experience that can be replicated also in sub-program for clean energy transition. And I hope and I'm certain that we will, after the experience of our capacity our project, we will remain connected and networking with the post-life period. Thank you very much, and congratulations for this very interesting event.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bento, for your presentation, first of all, and second of all, thank you, Paula, for your kind words and comments. Of course, we can assure you that we will keep our fruitful connection even in our post projects as well. Thank you very much.
So good morning, everyone. I am Deborah. I am the Life Resland project manager, and I work at Cascais Ambiente, which is the municipal environmental company of Cascais here in Portugal. And today I will not be telling you a lot about our project because I think that that's not what you want. I will be telling you just briefly about the project and mostly about how what Inês just talked about, the APA capacity building project, contributed to our project and to our experience in the LIFE program. So first, just a bit about the project. It's a climate change adaptation project, and it's being implemented in the Sintra Cascais Natural Park here in Cascais, which is the little green area that you can see in the bottom right. And it started at the end of 2023, and it will run until September 2029. It's coordinated by Cascais Ambiente, and this is our first LIFE project, so we were total newbies. So the project, what we want to do is basically to increase the resilience of our landscape to the impacts of climate change, and namely fires, because these are the most worrisome for us. And we want to do it by implementing a landscape management plan, which involves a set of sustainable management models. And these models will help create a landscape mosaic in which the fires do not spread so easily. Because what we have now is a continuum of shrubs that make the fire spread very fast and very easily reach the urban areas. And we work on 3 different axes to do this. First, it's the environmental axis, in which we try to restore habitats and promote biodiversity and ecosystem services. The other is the economic aspect, in which we are trying to, well, basically to save some money, because by using large herbivores to control the vegetation fuel loads, instead of having men with machinery doing it, we can actually save some money. And the social one, on which we try to involve the local community in all these managing efforts, mostly because most of the landscape of Natural Park here in Cascais is private, 60% of it. So we really have to involve the private landowners. But this is the project, and if we want to know how it's going, then I will give you the links to our page in the end. But mostly today I want to talk to you about how this project came to be with the help of the capacity building project of APA, which Ines just told you about. So before it became a reality, the capacity building project played an important role during the proposal preparation. This is where they started to really help us. And they were with us since the beginning. We were drafting our proposal. We already had one proposal that had failed for just some tiny points, but it failed. So we were trying to do this right this time. And we attended several capacity building initiatives Ines told you about. And they were really helpful, like the regional information sessions and workshops. And we consulted their documents, the frequently asked questions. Some of the questions there were our questions as well. So they were very helpful. And guidance materials they had. But probably the most important of all were the one-on-one meetings, which they were always ready to arrange whenever we needed. And it helped us clarify very specific questions that we had, mostly about budgets and KPI and stuff like that. So basically, they helped us in 2 ways. First, to really align our idea, our project idea, with life priorities. And then they supported us in gathering all the technical information that we needed to build a strong proposal. And that reduced a lot of the uncertainty that projects face in this part of the process, the application phase. It helped to transform our initial idea into something that was well-structured and cohesive. And the proof of that is that we were selected. And then we realized that the capacity building work was not done. So during the implementation phase, it would also be very helpful. Project management issues. I'm the project manager and I was having some issues and it helped me a lot. And we also had a wonderful field visit to a project that was already under our radar. We were paying close attention to them, which was the Life Marnesa project. And that field visit we managed to discuss networking opportunities and collaborations directly there in the field. So it was very important to us. And as a result of that, we have now 2 collaborations ongoing, and they resulted from the Interlife events. First one is with the Zimbral for Life project, in which we exchanged the juniper habitat monitoring protocols. And because they had their own and we had ours, and we understood that if we implemented theirs, we tried to implement theirs and see how it went, we would be unifying nationwide this methodology, and we would find just one way to do this at a national level, and it's good for everyone. And the other one, as I told you, is the Life Marnesa project. We actually managed to bring some Marnesa cattle from Serra do Alvão, which is where they are, where they originate, to Cascais, to help us control the vegetation fuel loads. And they also give us a lot of information about the breed and a lot of support whenever we need. And I think these collaborations illustrate pretty well how the networking within the LIFE community can help make projects better. And I believe generate practical solutions and a lot of mutual learning. And I think that's very important. So to conclude, we have experienced firsthand how these capacity building projects are important, and during the proposal phase, but also during the implementation phase of projects. And we believe that these exchanges lead to really good collaborations if you do it properly. And these collaborations also increase the quality of the project, but I think the quality of overall the LIFE program, because what they want is for us to work together. So thank you to APA for all the help, and thank you all very much for listening. And as I said, I didn't tell you a lot about the project, but feel free to explore. We have our website and our social media. And if you want to know more, just contact us and we will send you all the information that you may need. Thank you.
So thank you for the invitation. As Deborah mentioned, I will try to do as Deborah mentioned, try to speak just a little about the project, and then I will try to explain a little more about our experience with LIFE. And just as Deborah mentioned, it's really important to work together with other projects, and with the Interlife, it was possible for us also to meet with Deborah, and we also want to collaborate with the LIFE Resland that she presented. So our project LIFE SOS Pigargos, it's dealing with one of the most threatened species in Portugal. Just for you to know, we are a very small NGO from north of Portugal. We work a lot with local communities, with local knowledge, with tradition, and try to bring all together to preserve natural values and habitats and species that are endangered. So our target species is the Montagus area. It's one of the most threatened species in the Iberian Peninsula. In Portugal, it decreased around 80% in 10 years. And because this is a species that breeds in open areas, they use agricultural areas, cereal crops, and this is always also something that is decreasing in Portugal. Farmland and cereal decreased a lot in the last decades, and it's more or less the same decline that the species is presenting. This is critically endangered, and there's a lot of urgent measures that need to be implemented. So we work a lot with farmers, because with less area available for the species, also the conflict increases a lot. With less area, there are less space for the birds to breed. Situations of mortality, predation increased a lot. So we want to save the birds. So for that, we need to increase the agricultural areas, mainly in the center and north of Portugal. That's something that we are implementing in our proposal. It's really a very complex number of actions dealing with habitat management, increasing and improving the habitat, increasing also the breeding success of the species, and mitigate all the threats and reduce the mortality. This is a very big project for our level, for our experience in Portugal. It is coordinated by Palombar. It started in the end of September of 2024, and it will last for 6 years until 2030. It's an international project with partners from Spain also, and including almost 50 SPAs, Natura 2000 sites, and with a budget almost 11 million euros and a co-funding of 75%. This is a very complex project with 29 different tasks, 5 work packages, 1 work package mostly about coordination and management of the partnership, 2 work package 2 and work package 3 dealing with conservation actions, working with the species and the habitat, mitigation of threats and reducing mortality. Then work package 4 about monitoring. This is always crucial to have a very good scheme of monitoring for all aspects of the project, from the species to the habitat, for the implementation of the actions, for the work of the partnership, for the engagement of stakeholders. Everything is really important to have KPIs, to have indicators that can be monitored and evaluate along the project to allow to some. There's a lot of flexibility in the implementation of the actions, so it's really important to achieve the results that we want, even if you have if you have data that indicates that you need to adapt some of the actions, you need to do it, and it's really important to have this kind of monitoring. And then work package 5 about sustainability, replication, dissemination, a lot of networking and promoting the results of the project. So this is some pictures of the work that we are already doing, a lot of monitoring, identifying important areas, identifying nests, working with the farmers, protecting the nests to avoid predation and destruction, but also working in the agriculture component, identifying varieties of cereal that are most suitable for the north of Portugal, and also to increase the time that the crops are in the field so that the birds can complete the breeding cycle. It's really important to do that. It's really important to promote these varieties and study them and work with the farmers so that they can implement them. Also trying to give added value to this kind of production. It's really difficult nowadays to compete in this global market that we have. So we need to have products with high value for niche consumers that will pay more for this kind of products that also are good for biodiversity. And this is not only in agricultural areas, but also in areas in mountains when the species also breeds and are also in danger from wildfires, from rural abandonment. So it's really important to increase the value of the activities that allow to maintain the habitat for these species. The partnership is really big and really important. We have several NGOs that work on the ground. We have 3 research centers, universities for the monitoring, for the veterinarian work that is needed for the species. We have 2 institutes, one research institute for the cereal and Farmers Association to work with the farmers to produce more cereal. We have one of the largest retailers in Portugal that will create the bridge between farmers, production, and the consumers. And we have also a private company that has areas relevant for the bird, and 3 public bodies, two in Portugal and 1 in Spain, that give more formal implication for the project. There's a lot of things that we are doing to make this project sustainable and to really make the difference for the future after the end of the project. And from our experience to create this application, there are some things that we think some of the presenters already mentioned. It's really important to know what you want to obtain in the end, to really understand all the documentation of the LIFE program and understand how you can bring more value for the LIFE program and to reach your goals, to adequate your results to the objectives of the LIFE program, to have enough time to develop the application and to have someone that can devote a lot of time to this, because it's quite demanding. In the partnership, establish the focal points and the tasks that each partner will be in charge. This is really important from the start, so that you can have a very coherent application in the end. Learn from your experience, from your good results in the past, and also from the mistakes. So it's really important to understand if you have other applications in the past that didn't were approved, why, and use it to create a new application with more expectation to be successful. Work with stakeholders, have your letters of support, really create a good and comprehensive partnership from different levels of the society. For us, it was really important to work with farmers and with retailers to give a full and to reach all to implement all the different actions that we need to bring this to project to create more sustainability. And of course, for the budget, it's really important to have a consistent budget, to work with all the partners so everything aligns in the end, and to avoid last-minute corrections that can sometimes bring less points to your application. For us, it was almost 1 year of work since we start working on the idea and working with all the partnership. In the end, there were only, in the beginning, there were only 5 partners, and in the end, it was 18. So this was really complex. And in September, we took almost half a year to produce the application. And then we were in the reserve list, and we keep waiting, and it was approved finally in February. So it was really a very a big celebration for all of us. All of this is really important to have more birds, to have happy farmers working with biodiversity, and this is only possible with the LIFE program. And so, as already was mentioned this morning, LIFE is also critically in danger, and we need the help of everyone to raise our voice and to bring the importance of LIFE for biodiversity and for local communities, for countries in Europe. to the governments that will decide on this. Here you have our website, my email. I'm sure this will be shared with all of you, and everything that we can give our support, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.
So as you were presenting, so I'm for the Portuguese Energy Agency, and we are here to share a bit on our experience with LIFE projects and highlight the Plan for Cold project. My name is Joana Fernandes. I'm the coordinator of the technical projects unit. And if you can move along, I'll just tell you a bit what ADEN is about. So basically, next slide, please. You can already move to the third one. Thank you. So basically, ADEN is the Portuguese Energy Agency. We are working towards the clean energy transition, fair and inclusive for all. And we are also responsible for several energy management systems, such as the one from building energy certification and also from the industry. Next slide, please. We work in several thematic areas, from renewable energies to circular economy, energy efficiency, water efficiency, mobility, and of course, consumers and energy poverty. Next slide. We currently have 13 projects ongoing. One has a coordinator, that's Plan for Cold, I'm going to talk about. From these 13, 10 of these are LIFE-funded projects. If you can go to the next slide, please. So why are these so relevant for ADEN, and why are we deeply involved in so many projects? We do believe it allows us to deliver a set of technical skills that support innovation throughout ADEN's projects, and all the thematic areas that we accompany allows us to leverage and improve the systems that we manage, as well as improve the training and qualification activities that we held, not only for our technicians, but also for the market. ADEN also has an academy, so professional academy. And of course, it allows us to build on each other's shoulders, so fostering, promoting synergies between different entities, our peers, and benefit from the results that we can build together. Next slide, please, just to highlight very briefly some of our experience to succeed in LIFE projects. I'll just go through a few topics and then focus on Plan for Cold. So the first question, if you can move to the next slide, please. The call. I would always, my first suggestion is always read very carefully the call. Sometimes we have ideas that we really wanted LIFE program to support, but it doesn't work to try to fit your idea into a call. You really should answer the call. The Commission knows exactly where they want your help. So it's very, very important that you read the call very carefully, that you know the state of the art, so what has been done by others, so that you can ensure that we are not trying to develop the same, so that we are, let's say, improving what has already been done. And it's essential that you define your concept note very early, and you also have the support services to provide you some feedback, and will help you enrich your proposal. The next topic, I would say, of course, is the proposal itself. So you should work on the definition, implementation, and exploitation, and all of these stages should be very clear in your proposal, very clear about your objectives and your goals, what you want to achieve, and how you will monitor them. So present KPIs, have a clear quantification with clear metricals, reasonable assumptions, and guarantee that you can accompany the development and the implementation of these metrics on the field. A very, very critical point is the communication and dissemination. So your project might be the best one in the world in your perspective, but if you don't know how to communicate it, how to disseminate your results, then it will only be for the goods of you in your consortium, and that's clear, but not That's clearly what the intention, the Commission does not intend. They want to guarantee that your results reach a wider audience and that they can be exploited beyond the frontiers of your consortium. So also take this into consideration, the exploitation potential of your results. This needs to be very clear, again, to guarantee that what we are producing can be used by others and that we are not always reinventing the same ideas and projects. The third point, I would say, partners. Well, first of all, circulate the concept note very early on when inviting the partners. It is important that they understand what you are planning to do, what is your concept, what is your proposal, and that they really feel that they have a part to play in the project, that they understand what is their value in the value chain and what are the responsibilities that you are inviting them to assume. So it's very, very important to have this very clear from the very early engagement of the partners. And of course, select carefully the partners. You don't want to have a very big consortium. It's very difficult to manage big consortiums. But of course, I try to identify and select trusted partners that have the necessary skills for the activities that you want to allocate them. And of course, if you have previous experience with some of these partners, and if they have experience with the LIFE program, of course, it will be easier. Though getting into the LIFE program, it's getting easier and easier. And so I also strongly encourage you to invite newcomers to the program and, let's say, support a bit their entry in the program. The fourth point, work plan. Again, the work plan should be very detailed. So it should be an exhaustive identification on the current state of the art to explain that you know the topic, that you are an expert. That's what the Commission is requesting, experts to know about the field of action and to improve, to understand what are the gaps, to understand what can be done and propose new resources, new activities. So this needs to be very clear, the definition of the objectives, the necessary steps towards the implementation of your project, KPIs, once again, communication, exploitation. Ensure that you have a balance of activities and responsibilities among partners. It's very important that you have a very cohesive team, that you have a spread leadership of work packages and tasks equitably across the various partners to guarantee that they are involved, that they all play their role and are aware of their activities throughout the project. Final point, but least but not least, of course, the budget. The LIFE program typically funds around 95% most of the organization, but it's important for you to understand if there are different co-financing rates for other partners. This might have some implications of self-financing for some of the partners. So it's important that you have this also very clear from the very early stage. The project timeline, again, typically LIFE projects run from 3 to 4 years. And it's important that you set a budget according to the timeline that you foresee, accommodating the human resources, accommodating the definition of materials, the printings, the meetings that you need to have. All of that needs to be very clear and considered. And of course, have a diversified budget. So human resources, other costs, subcontracting if needed. It's easier for you to have a diversified budget for the very beginning, then it's easier to manage transfers during the project if some changes occur. So this is the gist of our experience. I would like now to present the plan for Cold project. As I was saying, this is a project that is coordinated by ADEN. So we have mainly 5 focus countries, so Greece, Portugal, Italy, Spain, and Croatia. And what we are looking at is to local heating and cooling plants. So if you go another slide ahead, You probably already know that from the new Energy Efficiency Directive, there is an obligation for municipalities over 45,000 inhabitants to develop local heating and cooling plans. And of course, this is an essential step in the EU's energy transition, but it's of course a very challenging step, especially looking into South European cities that face, well, different climate constraints. Looking at Central and Northern Europe, we have warmer climate, so cooling needs are increasing. We have more dispersed infrastructures in terms of their heating system, so not so common to have this heating and cooling network, so it's more difficult to have an integrated approach to the system. And of course, our building stock, it's also older and inefficient, so it's essential also to target this from the very early stage. So in Plan for Cold, what we are doing, we have developed a methodology to develop sustainable local heating and cooling plans, and our approach is an holistic approach, meaning that we are not only looking into buildings, but we are looking at the system from the very early stage of urban planning. So urban planning, the urban space, how to minimize the collection of heat from our cities, how to minimize the heat island effect, how to improve areas that are more favorable to the citizens, and to guarantee that minimizing the collection of heat within the city, we also minimize the needs to cooling inside our buildings. The second dimension, of course, buildings and infrastructures, looking from two perspectives. On the passive side, on the measure that you can implement in a building, from the building envelope, so the retrofit of the building envelope, windows, walls, and so on, to active systems, so to be able to minimize your energy needs and guarantee that you meet those needs in the most efficient way, and whenever possible using renewable energy technology. So we have more and more technologies available to support in this, and it's essential to guarantee that you can integrate solar thermal, PV, geothermal, heat pumps in a natural way in your building. The last step, but again not the least, it's behavior change. It's essential to raise citizens' awareness to heating and cooling, how to efficiently heat and cool your house, how to adapt and how to be more resilient to the different climate and extreme climate events that we are facing nowadays. So this dimension is also very critical. In the next slide, I can share just a bit on the tools and activities. So we have developed this methodology to define, operationalize, and monitor a sustainable local heating and cooling plan. We have prepared a toolbox of tools from previous projects. So this is a topic that has been worked upon by several stakeholders in the past year. So there are a lot of tools, very interesting tools that can help you in each step. We have also developed a few tools ourselves, but the idea is that you have a complete package of tools fitted to the geographical context of South European cities that can help you design your plan. Then we are going to start just now in May capacity building sessions, mainly aiming at public authorities, so the ones that are responsible to define these local heating and cooling plans, but also engaging with private stakeholders, because of course the plan is for the city, it's not for the council itself, but for the whole city, for the whole territory. So we need to ensure the engagement of private stakeholders also to know their part, to understand their concerns, and to guarantee their involvement. After that, we'll have side-by-side sessions, so working along with the municipalities, with the local authorities, to define the local heating and cooling plans. And upon this, we will have at least 10 local heating and cooling plans, also to be available to others, to be inspired by those. And upon that, we prepare, of course, a policy paper to report the experiences and to support the exploitation of our tools in other cities. And of course, dissemination and replication initiatives through other EU cities. The results, and has the last slide, we aim to have to train 2,500 professionals, again, both from the public and private sector, have 10 sustainable local heating and cooling plans, and to have these policy recommendations available together with the package of tools and resources that will help all the cities that are considered within this 45,000 inhabitants obligation to develop their local heating and cooling plans. I'll leave you with this, well, there's a short video in our website, and you can check it. And of course, you can also follow us on LinkedIn and in our webpage at Climate Alliance's webpage. Thank you so much for your attention, and feel welcome to reach out for any questions.